Hey everybody, thank you for joining us today, this pop-up workshop on how to create a brief record, or better known as a juliusf record in workflows. For those that don't know us, my name is Kristen Blumberg, and I am the catalog and metadata librarian for PALS Plus, and my partner is Cindy Corbett, technical services at the Verona Public Library. Let me share the screen of the juliusf document. Okie dokie, here we are. So a juliusf record would need to be created when you are trying to add materials into the system that do not have an existing record. These records allow items to get into circulation as quickly as possible. Many years ago, before we used to do brief records, we used to have books just sitting on shelves and carts collecting dust, waiting for records that may never come in the system. So we invented a little brief record called a juliusf. And we had the question earlier of how is it named juliusf? And I think we were talking about this earlier with Carol and how it started with Passaic Library. They used to be called the Julius Forstmann Library. And they used to have a lot of books that needed cataloging, but also other libraries needed it. So they became kind of like the beta tester. And we used the code juliusf in the 500 to be able to distinguish those records. So we can find them later on, whether it's SmartPort, OCLC, something like that. And it just became the norm for everybody to use. That's the code, and that's how it came to be. Carol, if you have anything to interject, please do. Other than that, so when you're looking for your record, you have to do your normal search under call number and item type or item search. And you want to search for your ISBN, your UPC, your standard numerical identifier, depending what kind of item you have in hand. And if that doesn't come up, you want to do your due diligence and you want to search under author, title, just to make sure that that record is definitely not in the system. Once you have exhausted everything, you want to go to add a title. And then under the defaults, this screen will pop up automatically. And these things, as you know, you can change later on. You usually just hit the OK. And that'll be, unless you want to set your properties, going forward to what you'll use most often. But I usually just hit OK, and then I edit later when I link the book. Okay, next screen.
So the next thing you're going to do is the control tab, which is, right here. So you're going to click on that, and that's where you're going to add your title control number, which is the ISBN or UPC or your music, I guess. I've never done that, I'm sorry, but anyhow. So for the items with an ISBN, you first delete the number that's in workflows that's automatically generated, and that's your title control number field. Next, you're going to add a title control number for your item by inserting a lowercase I, which is right here. You're going to type in an I, and then you can either scan or type your ISBN number into the title for the title control number.
Okay. For the items that may not have an ISBN, you can just leave the default that comes up with the letter A, as you saw earlier in the numbers, and that's okay. And then you can go on to the next screen, which is you click on the bibliographic tab. And then from there, you'll see the blank record come up and you can fill in the certain fields. The 020 would be the ISBN or the UPC. The 035 is a cataloging library. You put in your code, whether it's LF Tech, Wanacue, Clifton, whatever it is. The 100 is the author field. So you can put like Smith, Mike. And the 245 is the title field, which is required. So you'd put Mary Goes to School or whatever it is. And then here it says save before continuing. But if you wanted to add more fields, which we're going to talk about in the next screen, you can add more fields before saving, but you can always save as you go along so you don't lose the info either.
Okay, so this is the template for entering the information and Kristen just really went over it, where the 020 is going to be your ISBN number. Then you're going to have 035 is your library name. 100 is going to be your author. 245 is the title. The edition on 250 is going to be for large print, or if you have a recorded book, an audio book, you can put whether it's abridged or unabridged. For publication is 260. You're going to put the publication name, the city and state that the publisher is in, and the date that the book was published. The physical description, you could add the number of pages. Sometimes what I do is I take it from Baker and Taylor, and I go down to the physical description and I copy and paste it into the 300. And then the general note is where you're going to put the juliusf, so that Kristen knows that it's a temporary template for the the record.
One second. Oh, let's answer the chat real quick. I believe it's Patty, because I see her
Yes.
face now. Who asked if it has to be last name, comma, first name. I mean, I generally enter it that way, but in a juliusf, I guess it doesn't have to be, because it's going to be edited, or overlaid soon enough, and it's, at least it's still searchable,
Okay.
Okay. So we're on to the next one. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, please remember to always include juliusf in the 500. That's how we're going to find your records. That's our little code. And double check it, because sometimes when I'm searching, I see, if I try other forms, like I see like a missing an I, missing an S, Julius G's, things like that, but I don't always find them. So there's probably stuff floating out there I don't know is out there. And also, if you don't put it at all, it'll never be found unless someone reports it, that there's a short record there, needs to be fixed, whatever it is. If you're entering an audiobook, I know Cindy went over this, the 250 field, you can add abridged or unabridged. The 300, you can add number of discs, anything like that, anything that's helpful for us to find the record later on, to overlay, to make sure it's a perfect match. DVDs, same thing, UPC or a standard identifier, if that's available. And if you want to throw in Blu-ray or combo, something like that.
The 245.
And the music CDs, again, same thing. If you have the standard identifier or a UPC, a publisher, if they have it, number of discs, any kind of info that you could fill in, as you see here, would be helpful. You don't have to do it this exact way, like the 4 3/4 inch, to say it's 4 discs, something like that. Doesn't have to be super perfect, just so we know, oh, I look in Smartport, Buckles has this 4 discs, unabridged, perfect,
Okay.
So then next you're going to click on the call number and the item tab, and you're going to add your call number and item ID. And then you can make any other modifications that are needed for like your home location where the book is going to be, the item categories, and the number of pieces. And then you're going to click save to save the record.
Okay. And the last part is if you feel like that you've left something out, or you wanted to add something else later on, you're like, oh, I left out the number of discs. Let me go back to my juliusf and edit it. At the top of the screen, you have these little guys you can hover over. They'll say add a line before, delete a line, enter a line after, something like that. And you can always add in extra info down the road. And that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Let me stop sharing. And Carol put in the chat, if everyone saw that the 260 and 300s are very important. Yeah, it's very helpful, especially the page numbers, because there are different editions out there, stuff like that. When you go looking for a record, it says 300 pages. Oh no, this one's got 400. That's not a match. If it's within 10 pages, we'll overlay it. But if it's that much different, it would be a separate record. And the publisher too, like she said, the 260. Patty, you remember all this stuff from back in our day too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, I still do it. That's, it's just, but I couldn't
Oh, yeah.
I don't always put in like a last name comma for, because sometimes they have that two last name thing. And I'm like, I don't know which one it really is, so I
Yes,
just
yes.
put the whole thing in. I'm like, I'll look for it later.
Yeah, I haven't really found too many crazy issues. We've been able to find records or something, you know.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
But anyone else, any questions? I mean, if I missed something or if you have questions, of course, you could always email us later on down the road saying you didn't mention this or whatever, you know, we're
Yeah.
here. Shoot an email, phone call, you know, anything. That's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, guys, thank you so much
Thank-
for attending. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Is it Hailed? Is that Becca? All right, guys, thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thanks, Kristen.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.